Damn, man. Anyway, did these guys reach Olympus? In other words, so uh, in the second Ezra's, all right. It says the trees they wanted to get more basically stuff for themselves. So in a way, you can see how man is trying to bust his way into heaven, just like that's kind of like the land coming against the sea, conspiring to take more, to make more forests, uh, and have more for themselves. There's another key factor. It's always about like more greedy, trying to take. And another thing that reminds me of this is how the angels came down and took wives and taught them like tricks where they could rule and enslave the rest of the planet because they had secret knowledge and it was withheld from people. And then Satan also leaked knowledge to man, which the angels probably used as a platform to come down. It was like a schematic that the devil, the serpent in the beginning, created in the garden, and that's how the sea came against the forest. Look, they were in what? The Garden of Eden. And the devil in Revelation lets out a flood out of its mouth. Okay, so I mean, it's like it's kind of funny how this is all kind of. I'm wondering. There's also the clay and the iron mix. There's another example. There's also the beast of the earth and the beast of the sea. Uh, so I'm not sure. Look, Second Ezra also does this. It talks about the eagle's wing prophecy, and that sounds to me it's talking about like okay, it's like Nimrod. What it is he was the original world emperor. You know what I'm saying? And a tyrannical world emperor. And then you can see which societies followed the same schematic, like Alexander the Great. This is all documented in um, uh, Daniel. And there's like the statue, Nebuchadnezzar's statue. So basically, the world emperor uh, and Pharaoh also. That's the thing, imposing on heaven, saying that he was God on earth, and you know what I'm saying. So man is trying to take more credit for his own glory than he should. Basically, that's the Nimrod. That's the Tower of Babel event, and they're trying to actually bust their way into the heavens now. So, and likewise, the angels came out of their dwelling place to come into the earthly realm to take for themselves children, which in a way they're imprinting their influence on their they're coming down like people go up to the mountain and put their flag. These guys go way down and put their flags. You know what I'm saying? So there's a conspiracy from both sides. See, now you got man trying to do it again with like CERN machine and these hadron colliders, and they get to also feel all knowing, all seeing, eye of Sauron. Big Brother's always watching, in a brave new order in 1984. Uh, they also got the ray beams and all this other mess. So I mean, it's they are channeling information from these entities back in the Genesis event that are imprisoned, or they kind of were. What I imagine is they were put on. They lost their pass, man, and they've got put on restriction. You know what I'm saying? But but since they're not, I guess, necessarily physical beings, uh, necessarily not to say they can appear as physical beings, but they have to seek out emissaries in a way, and people who are eligible, like they got a certain level of evil, or they're capable of it. So they seek these guys out and they communicate with them, and then they tell them things so that they can rise to power. But it's kind of like it's you gotta, it's kind of like the deal with the devil. Just like I even heard they were saying about, like, basically the Antichrist is given all power, all authority, all that shizzle. So basically, it sounds to me like the Jesus in the wilderness. Like the devil actually finds someone who is eligible for that deal there, because obviously he's gonna benefit something terrible out of it. And he was trying to tempt Jesus to see if he was that guy. That's really who the devil's waiting for, is someone, because he just doesn't make that deal to anyone. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be some kind of there's got to be some kind, like what, how could Nimrod become Gibborim, and that doesn't happen to everyone who becomes evil and tyrannical. You know what I'm saying? So there's something else that goes on. Where did they get it? Is it the old, like the proverbial deal with the devil, basically? And I mean, to some extent, that's based on real, actual stuff. According to the Jesus in the wilderness story, and for some reason, this kind of that clicked into my head there about why is this guy given all the power and all the authority and all the kingdoms and everything of the earth? Because it's that's what he offered Jesus, and instead Jesus turned it down. There's real power, man, is when you can be offered everything and turn it down, and just do what's right and not what would uh, uh, most benefit yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or even don't get confused, because you could think, oh, if you made me the ruler of the world, I would be a utopia, and then you would watch it all go to crap, and you would be responsible for the world, and then it's all on you now. I mean, that you don't, look. It's kind of like that song, "The Man Who Sold the World." It's kind of like that. It's like I wouldn't want to be the man who buys the world, not just because, hey, I'm not worthy of that type of a responsibility. I would mess that up. So I mean, it's just crazy type of a thing. Same thing with this whole feudal fight between the sea and the field. And it's in Second Ezra, and like I said, and also the 10 wings. I think that's like Egypt. That's like, for a time it was Egypt, and for a while it's Greece, and for a while it's the Babylonians. For a while it's the Romans, and then you can also see how the British came through and conquered the world and was an empire for a while. America went through as an empire. So I think the eagle's wings is a deeper analysis of the Nebuchadnezzar, but Nebuchadnezzar is more like it starts. It starts from that point on. But I think there's other incursions where they kind of hint around like this about what the Beast Kingdom is, and then you can also look now. Like, look, the Beast Kingdom is basically it's like Rome, basically, or not Rome, but it's the Vatican, the Maltese government, which is more legalese, where they're a separate city state, just like DC and London. But anyway, these guys have a fucking outpost in every country on the planet, and they got influence and clout there. And in a way, in covert ways, they kind of pulled the strings politically around the planet. So in a way, they didn't have to go through and straight through cutthroat killing everyone, take things over. They just kind of did it through clever pimping. You know what I'm saying? And laying back and chilling, playing the long game. And Beast of the Sea, Beast of the Earth. See, you can think in a way the Vatican uses, even though it does have a secret kind of militaristic kind of ability, but yet it's really it's there. They can pull strings. So in a way, in alliances and all that, and they got the money and the power to back up the stuff that they do. And then at any time they could just go back on their word and just take things over anyway. But once again, there's the actual military is kind of like almost like the Beast of the Earth, and then the Beast of the Sea is the multitudes of people. How do they got clout over multitudes of people? Well, it's through the Catholic's intelligence, through its church service. You know what I'm saying? So it's the 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 also, like, look, iron. The iron was Rome, but see, it's kind of like the Rome mixed, or the iron and clay mixed. It's like it's not the same old kind of like uh iron fist type of a takeover. It's more subtle, like it's democratic. Like also it says in Daniel, through peace he shall destroy many. That's weird. How in the heck do you destroy with peace? I mean, it doesn't make any sense unless you understand that everything that is done by the entities is just straight up backwards. It's just like straight up Joker. So everything is backwards. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense in a way if you understand how to decipher because it's the dark sayings. And these that's really what a dark doing something in the darkness is too. It's kind of like, look, having on the front street, you're this awesome charitable place where everyone meets up and sings church songs. But on the low hand, it's an outpost to take over this motherfucker through peace. You know what I'm saying? And it's freaking crazy. But I mean, anyway, that's kind of, I don't know. That's what popped out at me when the see, they're all in allegiance with the look. The Vatican says that the aliens are our space brothers. So look, they're connected in with the fallen angels potentially there. So man wants to encroach in on heaven, and the angels in heaven want to come down here and get with man. So it's, once again, it's like, look, the angels want to come down here and take more for themselves. Man wants to get into heaven to take more for himself. Though that Ezra breaks that down, that fight there, and it's weird. It's pressure from above and below. It fits the whole schematic, man. Because sometimes you forget when you start to look at the angels, you forget the human element that assists them. And then when you look at the evil human element, you forget that there's fucking spiritual wickedness in high places really in operation, and we don't really know how deep is it really, man. I mean, is it like they live? If it is, give me the glasses, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Give me a case and I'll go pass them out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, man, I don't know, man. I just I'm glad that happened to me, man, kind of by accident.